Average Dude has something to say about...
Everybody, welcome back. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu is in the news again here in the United States and around the world because he's visiting the United States. He's going to be talking with Congress, and there's a lot of talk about, especially with the Democratic Party, who's going to be there, who's not going to be there, and what all that means and what their excuses are. Let me tell you something about Benjamin Netanyahu, who I have called Scrappy Doo on numerous occasions. He is a bad politician for Israel. And I'm going to go over finally why he's there and why Israel puts up with him, because Israel is in complete and total denial. There is not a single country in the world that does not have corruption in its government, and Israel is no exception. And the rest of the world needs to stop fantasizing and romanticizing about Israel being magical and somehow different. The Holy Land. It's not. It is run by human beings, and the human beings are flawed. And it should not be that big of a surprise. Benjamin Netanyahu is a real piece of work. Scrappy Doo is that character in Scooby-Doo where he, let me at him, let me at him, let me at him, let me at him. And the Scooby Gang knew that he was full of crap, that he was not tough enough to deal with all the big bads out there, and they were constantly saving his sorry little behind. And that is Benjamin Netanyahu. This guy, for years now, since becoming prime minister, has been, let me at him, let me at him, let me at him, let me at him. And God, he has lost more supporters of Israel than I think anybody. Because Israel was actually doing okay for a while as far as support on as far as the world. The countries of the world, but he lost a bunch of them because you do not pick fights with your friends. And he does this routinely. He picks fights with the U.S. A couple of years ago when I first spoke about this ding-dong of a politician. I mean, it was the anniversary of 9/11, and we had attacks, the United States, when it came to our ambassadors, over there in the Middle East, and we were getting attack, and there were a bunch of deaths, and Benny Boy, decided to pick a fight with the U.S. after that. And this is where Barack Obama went real quiet, and the relations went And I don't think Israel realizes this. The people of the United States are pissed with Israel, including Israeli, you nincompoops, okay? Israeli people, you need to understand that there are Jews around the world. And they are around the world because things were so bad in the Middle East that they had to run to the corners of the earth to be able to raise their families safely. And the trouble just keeps following them, and Israel keeps calling back. All right? They want to raise their families, and they're constantly being called back. The Middle East will never let them go. And I'll tell you, leave them alone. The Jews from around the world do not necessarily like Israel. They pretend to, but they do not agree with Israel. Israel has become corrupt, and it happened really soon. Netanyahu is not Golda Meir. All right? He's a little pain in the butt, scrappy dude that picks fights with everyone, including his most beloved support. All right, the United States, we gave you guys in Israel the Iron Dome. You're welcome. And I'll tell you what, yeah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. You know what? Pay us back. That's what a lot of the Jews in the United States are saying. Pay us back. I'll tell you, because if you've ever been to the temples around the United States, I don't know about the rest of the world, but I can say in the United States, you'll see these pamphlets and you'll read about these breakthroughs in technology, and of course those companies in the Gaza Strip and whatnot. Yeah, Israel is making some major breakthroughs business-wise, money, and yet They're not giving back. The international community saved the United States saved Israel, sorry, but Israel would not even be a country the way that it is now without the U.S. getting involved. You're welcome. Time to pay the rest of the world back. And you don't find Israel really doing much to pay the rest of the world back. And this is where I'm going to talk about Netanyahu's up for re-election, and he's calling, and because of all the attacks that are happening in Europe and France especially, with that Charlie Hebdo thing and the out of control militant Muslims of the world, he's calling them back. And I'll tell you what, I'm calling bullshit on this because it's a political ploy. He's up for re-election, and also Jews around the world know that they left Israel for a reason, because it was bad back in the day. The Middle East was horrible. They were not safe. And Netanyahu's saying you're safer there? Well, think about this. What is one of the tactics that we criticize the Muslims for? The recruitment, the conversion process, trying to recruit people and bring them back so they can, the whole people that are volunteer to fight for ISIS and all this. Well, guess what? Israel does the same damn thing. And that's why Netanyahu's doing this. If he brings them back, he's got more 20-somethings that he can throw into the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, against their will. These people do not have a choice. No choice. So unless they happen to have friends in very high places in the government in Israel, they are serving no matter what. They could die for their beloved Israel. Okay? Jews across the world are tired of that. They're trying to keep their kids safe. And now I'm going to talk about what Israel doesn't want to talk about, or Netanyahu especially. You see, he has no problem bringing in and recruiting the white Jews. And yet, not that long ago in my lifetime, there was a mass exodus of Ethiopian Jews that were brought into Israel that almost did not happen. Where was this concern for the Ethiopian Jews, Israel? Oh yeah, this is Israel's dirty laundry. When it comes to the color of skin, the color brown, oh, well, they're not really Jewish. And do a Google search, look around. There's a lot of arguments that say, oh, they're not really Jews. Way to go. The people in the United States are very aware of what racism is and judgment based on brown skin, Israel. We don't even hide it. But boy, Israel pretends to. Israel pretends to be the holy ground. Racism, the color of skin, it's a problem that is worldwide, including Israel. They treat the Ethiopian Jews like shit, and they know it. They treat them like dreck. They are treated like second-rate citizens, and they do not get the opportunities that the white ones get. It's a problem. Bibi needs to be focusing on this first. He needs to be making these people feel like the Jews that they're supposed to feel like. Really accept them. Instead of working on recruiting like you're the frickin' Taliban for the purpose of bringing soldiers to fight the IDF for the oncoming threat against Israel, because Bibi's constantly, let me at him, stirring the hornet's nest like a ding-dong. He needs it. That country, Israel, needs to stop being so ridiculously bigoted towards brown skin. They're treated like crap. Imagine that. Racism exists in Israel too. And you won't hear Bibi address the United States with this. The reason that tensions have been bad with the U.S. is because the U.S. is the reason why the Ethiopian Jews were brought back. I mean, I'm going to give credit to a lot of the European Jews too, because they tried. Basically, Jews that left and were around the world were pissed, and they're like, you know what? They're Jews too. Bring them back. To hell, this is unacceptable. Bring them back. But Israel is corrupt. For its 50, 60 some years of being around, it's ridiculously corrupt and too soon. And they did not want the brown-skinned Jews to come back. And it was the American Jews with the American money, power, money, and they hammered it home. And I want you to think about this. It took decades. Operation Solomon and Operation Moses, there was a lot of time between the two, and there were efforts even before those. It took a long time. The relationship between Israel and the United States has never been good because Israel became corrupt almost immediately. So I am going to be watching this re-election with Israel. Do yourselves a favor and address your bad behavior, Israel. You have a problem with racism, deal with it. God knows we have to. And grow up and get Netanyahu Scrappy Doo out of there.